Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Sounds like we're going to have problems with our microphones this morning.
It's feedback.
We're working on it.
You're working on it?
Sure.
We just fixed it.
Morning. Good morning, JD.
Our invocation
Morning, Roy.
today will be
Hey, JD.
delivered by David Barrett from our Sheriff's Office. After the invocation, please remain standing for the pledges.
Shall we pray? Almighty God, who has given us this land, this state, this county as our home and heritage, we humbly ask that we may always prove ourselves a people mindful of your favor and glad to do your will. Grant to all of us who work in the various areas of county government a spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, so that we, with steadfast purpose, may faithfully serve in our area of labor and promote the well-being of all our citizens. For those of our employee family who have died in this past year, John Collette, Sheriff's Office, Stuart DeJournay, Public Health, Alan Dennis, Sheriff's Office, and Alvin Clay, Sheriff's Office. We ask that your perpetual light will shine upon them and that your grace will keep their families. Bless us this day and enable us to be a blessing to others. In your holy name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, David. Agenda announcements, Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have two announcements relating to the agenda. The first one is under the Administrator section. It will be item 9A2. We have a corrected court communication in your file, in your folder this morning. Also under under budget, which would be the appropriation adjusted. There's one correction on that, and there's a new court communication in your folder also. Members of the Court, I'd also like to, as everyone knows, today is Hot Dog Day outside, and those events begin, the ceremony begins at 12 o'clock.
This is Employee Appreciation Day, not Hot Dog Day.
Thank you. I was going to correct him, but
Then finally, we have next Monday at 2 o'clock, we have the JPS pre-bid conference for the RFP, and it will be live streamed, so any of you that like to watch it on your computer, you can do that. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, there is one other thing. I believe Commissioner Fickus has an announcement.
Well, I was going to let Judge Whitley kind
Very
of
good.
that off. And we'll kind of work it together.
How many years have you been doing the administrative? Three. Our Mary Louise, our county clerk, put together an administrative awards event 3 years ago and has continued that. It's been a very successful event, and we appreciate very much her doing that. This past awards, which was April the 26th, under the category for the Administrative Excellence in Government or Public Service Award, Precinct 3, Teresa Parsons won the award. So at this time, I think Commissioner Fickus is going to present that. Teresa, come on down.
I just want to thank Mary Louise and the team that put together the event, and I can tell you that Teresa has, I know you've been doing this for 3 years, but Teresa's been an outstanding employee of our office for the past 8 years, and it's just done a stellar job and does our newsletter, keeps all of our communications going, and it's kind of glue that keeps us all together sometimes. So want to thank you, and we really do appreciate all you do. So, thanks.
I'd also like to just add that this Thursday, we have our Senior Synergy event, and Catherine has been working on that, well, for about the last 6 months, for probably the last year, but it's intensified this week. And she's already mentioned that Teresa and several others have helped in this event. I know that we've got help from some of the commissioners' folks as well as constables, and we appreciate everybody. But that event is at the Will Rogers Coliseum this week, or I guess it's Will Rogers. It's not the Coliseum, it's the Amon Carter.
Exhibit.
Yeah, Exhibit Hall. So hope everybody, if you don't know a senior, or if you do know a senior, call them and tell them to about the event, and invite them to be there. And if they are going to come, then Catherine's panicking that I'm just inviting everybody again, but have them call our office and they can register for that event. So thank y'all very much for that. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of April 19th.
Move approval.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion almost passes. I guess I need to get my vote on there. Motion passes unanimously. We have 3 resolutions and proclamations. As you can already tell, I am coughing and almost losing my voice, and so we ain't reading the resolutions today. We're going to, I'll meet folks, since all 3 of them are mine. What I want to begin with is the first one is National Prayer Day. And I believe we have Vicki Phillips here on that, and I'd ask Vicki to come forward. This is a great event that has been occurring now for several years. And we appreciate very much the gifts, and we had some cookies, which I will put out in the executive session later on. But I will move its approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Vicki, thank you very much. I guess our queen is
See Ron's piece of art?
Shout it aloud. Do not hold back.
Ron and
Raise your voice like a trumpet.
For you, but you pulled to go by his law.
Judge Whitley and Commissioners, thank you so much for this honor, and we are thankful to have a government body in Tarrant County that supports prayer. Prayer is the fabric that holds our nation together, and we appreciate the honor of you allowing that. We've grown in Tarrant County in our National Days of Prayer. 4 years ago, when we started gathering the entire community together, we had 150. Last year, before the event was over, even in the rain, we had 350. So in the last 4 years, it's really growing, and the community's coming together, and it's very exciting to see that we come together as a community and pray before we have a tragedy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next resolution that we have is Older Americans Month. Chuck Burton, I believe, from Senior Citizen Services is here. Is he? There he is, okay. So thank you for coming down. I will move approval of this resolution.
Second.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. I feel like I need a step stool. Okay, you're gonna, yeah.
Wow, it reaches. Well, thank you. It's an honor to accept this for Senior Citizen Services on behalf of all older adults in Tarrant County. And you know, older adults, those 65 and older, currently account for 10% of the county's population. In 15 years, that will grow to 30%. No secret, we're all living longer. This was a fact that was recognized by President John F. Kennedy more than 50 years ago when he said, "It is not enough for a great nation merely to have added new years to life. Our objective must be to add new life to those years." We at Senior Citizen Services support that. We appreciate the recognition, and we want to thank all of the older adults in Tarrant County, as well as all of those who support older adults and provide care to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for everything y'all do. And our last proclamation is for Jury Appreciation Week, and I believe that, is Judge Wish?
No, he sent me instead, sir.
Oh. Well, is Paula here?
We can follow, it's more important.
Paula, come on forward. You can come forward too, Greg. I'll move its approval.
Second.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We do very much appreciate everything that y'all have done. We appreciate, I've had many comments upon the electronic and the ability to, check in, and I think that's been a very successful one too. So come on around here and let's get are you on jury duty? Thank you very much. Paul, make some comments. You can make some comments too.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, we got to straighten it. We don't want
Paula,
to
thank
crooked
you
courthouse.
yesterday for moving me from a Monday to a Wednesday.
Seems to work out a little better that way for your schedule.
Yeah, well,
Well,
I didn't
just
want
have
to miss court.
I just have to say that with the backing of Commissioners Court and all the judges, the online system has been really great for everyone. It seems to work out in our favor. To date, we've saved the county over $400,000 being able to use the online system. That's huge. But again, it's with the support of the citizens really getting on board with it. We haven't really advertised much. It's been word of mouth, and it's something that really works for everybody. And I always tell people that show up, even if we don't use the online system, we haven't worked ourselves out of a job. We still have people reporting to the room. Everybody's willing to do their part. I have a great staff that works tremendously hard to get everything done. But it's just an awesome place to be, and I'm proud to be part of this in the county.
Thank you very much again, Paula.
And on behalf of the criminal judges, the trial before your peers is an inherent constitutional right, but Paula needs to be commended for all the work her staff does. It's a very small little department that you hear no complaints about, that does a fantastic job shepherding many people through the system to become part of it. So again, I'd like to acknowledge her and her hard work and her staff. Thank you very much.
Now comes the one of my favorite times of each month, and that's the time to recognize our employees for their years of service. For the rookies, the 5 years, we'll start off calling the 5-year anniversaries and then ask each one of you to stand until your particular group is complete, and then we'll move forward into the next group. So beginning with our 5-year employees, Holly Bishop, the 342nd District Court. Terry Bradshaw, County Criminal Court Number 5. Paul Davis, the Sheriff's Department. There's Paul. Kimberly Dixon, the County Clerk's Office. There you go. Keith Ebel, Fire Marshal's Office. There you go. Jeff Farr, the Sheriff's Department. There's Jeff. Gordon Groom, Criminal District Attorney's Office. Rachel Henry, Sheriff's Department. Thomas Kirk, Sheriff's Department. Gary Lackins, Facilities Management.
He's back there.
There he is. Ashley McGinty, Tax Office. Christopher Neal, Tax Office. There you go. Jimmy Politz, County Clerk's Office. Terry Simonton, Sheriff's Department. Todd Tipton, Sheriff's Department. There's Todd. John Tompkins, Sheriff's Department. Brandon Walker, Sheriff's Department. John Washika, Sheriff's Department. I thought I was going to get through that without a hard one. And then Ron Wright, Tax Assessor. Congratulations on all you 5 people. For our 10-year employees, Karen Branzel, County Auditors. Katie Dinkins, Sheriff's Department. Maria Gonzalez, Sheriff's Department. Zachary Grannon, Sheriff's Department. Michael Green, Information Technology. Michael. Troy Jones, Resource Connection. Martin Kalam, Sheriff's Department. Joshua
Kobayashi.
Yeah, that's it. Tax Office. Joseph Mack, Sheriff's Department. Reginald Major, Sheriff's Department. Susan Mahia, County Clerk's Office. Margot Moore, County Auditor's Office. Michael Myers, Sheriff's Department. Trina Newman, County Clerk's Office. Shari Nguyen, aren't you glad that I got that one right?
No, actually, it's Nguyen.
You get it, Judge?
Nguyen, Criminal Courts Administration. So all these years now we've been pronouncing your name wrong.
I don't like to make it hard.
Rebecca Powell, District Clerk's Office. Jose Sanchez, Sheriff's Department. Ruth Sevilla, Public Health. These are our 10-year employees. Let's congratulate them. Now for our 15-year employees, Katrina Elsie, Public Health. William Shelton, County Criminal Court Number 2. David Stevens, Precinct 2. There's David. And that's our 15-year employees. Now for our 20-year employees, Anna Guerrero, Juvenile Services. Melissa Lee, Purchasing Department. There's Melissa. Jimmy McDonald, Medical Examiner's Office. Clifton Shelton, Sheriff's Department. Let's give these 20-year employees a hand. Now for our 25-year employees, I believe our first one, Billy Patton, I don't believe was going to be able to make it to court today. So if you see Billy, he's with Facilities Management. Please tell him we appreciate how long he's been with the county. Next is Carl Weston, Sheriff's Warrants. This ain't looking good. He's been with the Sheriff's Department for 25 years, and I believe our 30-year employee is Michelle Cummings with Sheriff's IT. I knew that two of them weren't going to be able to make it today, but I thought that Carl Wasby would be able to make it, and so just as you see them or if you work with them, please congratulate them on their years of service. And then afterwards,
not to go back in years, but I think we were supposed to be here last month. I've got a 5-year employee, Debbie Singleton, who I think we were previously scheduled, but I'd like to make sure and
Debbie?
recognize her, my misdemeanor clerk in JP2.
there you go. Thank you very much for your service. Now, actually, after, I believe, around whatever time we finish our executive session, we're going to be out on the lawn there, and we will be recognizing the different employees for their years of service out there also. So again, thank each one of y'all for being here and for the service that you provide to Tarrant County. It's very, very much appreciated. And with that, I'll move that we receive and file the employee recognition.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Maynes. No, we've got, well, the public hearing. Let's, wait a minute, we might ought to do the consent agenda first. So, do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the consent agenda? Oh, yeah, I'm kind of forgetful here. Cookies and Punch, 504C. You can go now.
Wilder, you can sit down.
I would say he is a little off.
Look at him.
Barton over there.
Really?
Good to see you. Did I vote on the consent? We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
You okay?
Yeah, I am, but
I never seen you flutter like that. You need to go to a doctor.
I'm going to as soon as I can get out of here.
Rebecca.
My life coach. I call up every morning, get out of bed, exercise. We did consent, and y'all moved and seconded, and then we voted.
Right.
But the vote was kind of as everybody was moving. Y'all are okay, right? Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have 5 additional items to bring to you this morning. The first one, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court authorize the filing of a suit against Chesapeake Exploration and Total E&P USA and their corporate affiliates, parents, and subsidiaries and related entities for royalty underpayments under 7 oil and gas leases, and approve a professional services agreement with Moses, Palmer, and Howe to serve as special counsel in this matter.
So moves.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the Court, on item number 2, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve the utilization of Kelly Hart and Hallman as outside counsel for the district clerk.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion made and passed unanimously.
Members of the Court, if we could go to item 3, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court consider and approve an exception to the county's travel policy for an elected official in the final year of a term for the 360th District Court.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the Court, Ms. McMillan is going to do items 4 and 5.
Judge, Commissioners, the next 2 items relate to tax-exempt financing issued by outside corporations for educational facilities located in Tarrant County. The first item is the use of approval for the use of tax-exempt revenue bonds issued by the Industrial Development Authority of the County of La Paz, Arizona, and the maximum principal amount of $60 million to be used by Charter School Solutions to finance educational facilities located in Tarrant County. The bonds will be used to finance improvements to properties in Albuquerque, New Mexico, El Paso, Sugar Land, Plano, Grand Prairie, and the Harmony School of Innovation and the Harmony School of Science ULIS campuses in Tarrant County. The Commissioners Court is asked to approve this issuance solely for the compliance with the IRS code. Charter School Solutions has provided a letter noting that there are no known property use restrictions and acknowledging the county's hub policy. We're asking for approval.
Where's La Paz, Arizona?
Albuquerque, is that what you said?
North.
Well, yeah, it's around the Albuquerque area.
No, Albuquerque's in New Mexico.
Oh, I'm sorry, Arizona.
Steve probably would know.
Yeah.
There is no La Paz County in the state of Arizona.
There's no.
It's La Paz, Arizona, the city of La
The
Paz.
city of La Paz.
Paz.
There's only 14 counties in Arizona.
There's La Paz County.
I don't believe there's a La Paz County. Of course, I'm a Texan now.
So we don't know if there's a La Paz County?
Give us 1 second.
We know there isn't.
I bet there is.
There is a county.
Says La Paz County.
Where is it?
Blow up that map.
In Arizona somewhere. I can't read that.
La Paz County is basically in the middle of Arizona off of I-10.
Okay.
In the La Paz Valley.
And I imagine they were the issuer because of the Albuquerque location and then financing all of them. So,
Okay.
Again, Albuquerque's in a different.
I understand, but they're right next
Do
to
you
each
have
other.
a motion?
I don't believe I do.
I'll make a motion. Approve.
Is this the only one that is outside, and have we, so everything else is within Tarrant County?
No, there's only one location. These bonds are being used to finance several places in the state of Texas, one in New Mexico. The only location that some of this funds are going to be used for are the 2 Harmony School locations in Euless.
Did they pay a fee? Tarrant County?
They do not pay fees for Tarrant County. This is only.
You might remember that we have done this before, and it's a requirement that whenever we have, when a different entity issues a certain type of bond, that if they are going to actually expend those monies in Tarrant County, then it requires a vote of the governing body of Tarrant County. It does not affect our tax base. We have no responsibilities on this. This is simply to meet the IRS code.
I'll second the motion.
Do we know whether there's any objections in any of the communities to this?
No, and there is nothing in, you're talking about in Euless to the Harmony schools? You know, Harmony schools, in fact, the next item is going to be in relation to additional Harmony schools. I don't know, Harmony Schools is ranked one of the top charter schools in the nation and in the state of Texas, and recently in U.S. News and World Report. So the city of Euless is very supportive of all of the expansions and improvements made to that.
Okay. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
All right. The second item is the approval of the use of tax-exempt education revenue bonds by Arlington Higher Education Finance Corporation in a maximum principal amount of $100 million to be used by Harmony Public Schools. The bonds will be used to finance improvements to properties under the ownership of Harmony in Houston, Katy, Brownsville, Waco, and at the 5651 West Creek Drive, Fort Worth location in Tarrant County. Again, this is solely for IRS purposes. It will be Arlington Higher Education Corporation that is issuing the bonds. And they too have provided a letter noting no known restrictions on the property and the county's HUB policy guidelines.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Glenn?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have a couple of items for the court this morning. The first item, we're asking the court to receive and file personnel agenda.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our second item, we're asking the court to approve an out-of-class pay extension for JP3. As explained in your communique, Judge Casey is requesting this extension effective May 10th. We're estimating the impact to the general fund to be approximately $1,500, including fringe benefits.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Ms. Tidwell? Whoops. It's been one of those days. Come on forward, Mr. Maxwell. When I looked over, I saw that shine, and I knew I'd made a mistake.
I know deep down inside you have a great affection for these financial statements. So,
I do. I love them.
Judge, Commissioner, we present to the court the financial statements for the month ending March 31st, 2016.
Move to receive and file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Beecham.
Really?
Ann Farmer asked me to wear this, and I respectfully declined since it doesn't match my outfit. The significance is to remind everybody that we have hot dogs and hot turkey dogs on the lawn at 11 o'clock and a bunch of other stuff.
Actually do.
We have 8 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2016-071. This is our annual contract for the purchase of and service of light-duty lawn maintenance equipment. Recommendation be to award the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors meeting all specifications based on a per discount from catalog price, hourly labor rate, and parts markup.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 2 is another bid award recommendation for bid 2016-072, starting a contract for landscape supplies and services. Recommendation be to award the primary and secondary vendors as shown in your court communique on a per hourly labor rate and materials markup.
Move for approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 3 is another bid award recommendation for bid 2016-087,
This is our annual contract for preventative maintenance and repair of medium-duty lawn maintenance equipment. Recommendation will be toward a per enterprise basis, awarding to Austin Turf and Tractor.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 4 item, again, is a bid award recommendation for RFP 2016-095. This is a new annual contract for audiovisual systems maintenance and repair for facilities management. Recommendation would be to award the primary and secondary vendors as shown here, primary, secondary, and alternate vendors as shown in court.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 5, again, is another bid award recommendation for RFP 2016-110. This is our annual contract for Secure Access Control Systems maintenance for our various Tarrant County buildings. Selecting as our primary vendor, Integrated Access Systems, as our secondary vendor, Intech Sales and Service.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 6, again, is a bid award recommendation for bid 2016-111, starting a contract for our PM service of our commercial kitchen facilities. Recommendation would be toward a per enterprise basis, awarding to Fikes Infection Control Incorporated.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote.
Is that part of your company?
No, I wish it was. That's the potties are. Leo Fife. He makes a lot.
Motion passed unanimously, by the way, while they're still talking about this stuff up here.
Item number 7 is another bid award recommendation for bid 2016-114. This is our annual contract for the purchase of United States, Texas, and Tarrant County flags. Recommendation to be to award a per enterprise basis, awarding to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors meeting all specifications.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Last item, number 8, again, is a bid award recommendation for bid 2016-122, bid for the sale of recycled paper. Our recommendation would be toward the high bidder, Pinnacle Recycling, buying our sorted paper at the rate of $130.80 per ton.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Mr. Riley. Good morning.
Good morning.
We've got 2 items for your consideration this morning. The first one is we request that the Commissioners Court approve the interlocal agreement with the City of Lake Worth for the striping Charbonneau Road, Shawnee Trail, Dakota Trail, Telephone Road, and Navajo Trail.
And item 2 is to begin the interlocal agreement. I'm move approval of both.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve items 9J, 1 and 2. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bickus, I believe you have a...
Have an interlocal with the Bedford for liquid asphalt. Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Johnson.
I have 2 interlocal agreements, or maybe 3. 3. One with Pelican Bay, one with River Oaks, and the town of Lakeside. Move approval of items K, 2, A, B, C, D, E, F, and F.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any appointments?
Yes, Your Honor. The Historical Commission bylaws allow for the appointment of emeritus members to recognize the service of individuals who have been longtime members of that commission. It is an ex officio kind of position in that it's a non-voting position. At the request of the Historical Commission, I would ask this court to appoint Clara Wallace Riddell Holmes, who was appointed to the Historical Commission in 2005 and served faithfully for many, many years. I would ask her appointment as an emeritus member of the Historical Commission.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Board members, you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Mayes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we have one briefing. This is a follow-up of earlier briefing on the reentry and reintegration program. Mr. West Jury is here to address the court at this time.
Good morning, Judge. and
Morning.
Court.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to come back and readdress this issue. I previously came to you to talk about the challenge we face, not just in Texas, but in Tarrant County and in the cities within Tarrant County. Today I'd like to propose a key component, a way that we can begin to move forward, working with those components in the county to more fully address this. My involvement began over 2 years ago when we at the state level began to look at this issue as a part of our planning for the state's 8-year strategic plan, now signed by the governor. I've spent the last 18 months meeting with stakeholders in Tarrant County, everyone from your district attorney to the director of your housing authority on. And the input to me has been consistent in 3 ways. We lack the linkage between the state, regional resources, the county, and communities. There's not really a direct interface in place as it should be. We lack truly accurate information and data. The best numbers I can give you and the best numbers I've been able to receive are somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 people being released to Tarrant County, and that's not accurate enough, but it at least gives us a start. And the lack of what I'm going to term capacity integration. There are a lot of people striving to do something. We're not as well connected as we should be. And so I've worked for the past 12 months to develop the outline I'm going to present to you today as the basis for a way I believe we can move forward. First of all, think of the name Redemption Bridge. The term bridge signifies linking together, bringing together, a way across a chasm, a way to bring parties together. And I've really established this approach so that we can truly bridge the state with the county and communities in terms of an integrated approach to this issue. I've talked to Commissioner Brooks at some length about the fact that it would be nice to mandate this. Unfortunately, we can't. There are too many state agencies, there's too many layers of legalese and bureaucracy involved. But we can coalesce and bring together agencies willing. And I'm pleased to tell you I'm working directly with Brian Collier, the Deputy Executive Director at TDCJ, and his Division Chief April Zamora as we fashion this approach. What we're essentially creating is a network of networks, an intermediary that will facilitate direct interaction between state agencies, primarily the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, but also Juvenile Justice, the Texas Workforce Commission, and others. Facilitate interaction with those state agencies directly with the county and with the work that we're already doing here in Tarrant County, much like Les Smith's Tarrant County Criminal Justice Committee and Steve Gordon's Tarrant County Reentry Coalition. I've talked extensively to both of them about this approach. I believe they'd both tell you they're fully supportive of it because they're going to be 2 of the primary entities we're going to be working with. So think first at the outset of an intermediary linking those state agencies directly with the county in terms of facilitation of those services and the things we would do. That's one of the key things we're planning to do. It also, as a byproduct, is going to be able to serve those returning to Arlington because we're more challenged than most because, as you all know, we have no public transit. We have one bus that moves between UT Arlington up to the T-stop. That's hardly public transportation. And the other input everybody has put on the table is that there are 3 really interlinked challenges. Lack of transportation. In a meeting yesterday, working with the group that you brought in to study this issue, we determined that 73%, according to your local workforce board, 73% of those coming out do not have access to transportation or literally a way to work. That's one of the challenges. The second challenge to that is Where most of those individuals go, and studies I've seen show there are 9 zip codes in Tarrant County, predominantly where these ex-offenders will come to. Unfortunately, those zip codes are not concurrent with the public transportation system, nor are they concurrent with where most of the jobs are. As an example, many of the returning offenders come to the southern parts of Fort Worth. There's an awful lot of jobs with 451 companies at Alliance Airport in northern Tarrant County and Denton County. And so we've been working for over a year and a half now, facilitating and ensuring that major employers will work with us, that major institutions will work with us, that the state institutions will work with this, and certainly I've spent a lot of time working within the county. As a network of networks, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to work directly with existing networks. The Tarrant County Reentry Coalition is a good example. They have networked together social service agencies. Those aren't housing authorities, they're not employment centers, but they are social service agencies, some 40 plus, that all can provide valuable service. And as an example, as we get information from the state, it'll flow directly to the Reentry Coalition and then flow directly into all of those 40 plus agencies, so they'll have the information and can look at how they'll serve that population. And where we don't have networks, we're building them. I'm meeting today with Patricia Ward, the head of your housing authority. I'm also meeting with the head of your transportation unit. I'm briefing next week a formal meeting with the regional director of HUD and her administrative team. And what we're pulling together is a network of housing authorities working with and through HUD to ensure that we find some comprehensive, cohesive way to offer housing assistance. Think of that as one example of the networks we're building that don't currently exist. We're also working at another level to be sure that pre-entry, we've got a handle on this, and let me give you 2 specific things we're looking at. On pre-release, we're looking at working interactively. I'm already in deep discussions with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice about how we're going to get the data on inmates pre-release at least 3 months out. We found that we can't always get it 6 months out, but typically we can at least get it 3 months out. We're going to begin interfacing with those populations to ensure that when they are released, they have a driver's license or a Texas ID, a birth certificate, a social security card, and other such documentation. And you'll be surprised perhaps to find that many are released without those items. And so I come back into Tarrant County, and I don't live near public transportation. I'm not employed, and perhaps I even need housing assistance. But before I can get any of the above, I've got to go secure my documentation. I may need mental or medical health care. I come out with only 30 days meds, and I still have to go through those processes before I get the identification to try to register for medical services or mental health services. And so we're going to be working to facilitate what I'm going to call pre-registration. 3 months out, we receive the information. 3 months out, we work to ensure that they're going to come out with the proper identification and documents. And 3 months out, we begin interfacing with the Workforce Board in Tarrant County for pre-registration, the Housing Authority for pre-registration assistance, mental health services for pre-registration assistance, so that the day they're released to the community, they're not coming back trying to find their way around. They're coming back already able to work with these organizations. Post-release, we're going to facilitate with those networks, ensuring that they actually get served, and we're going to serve those in Arlington specifically because there's no one else serving Arlington. Our primary purpose is to build this intermediary. We're working in Arlington because, as even I've talked to Commissioner Wynn about, there is no other service provider of any kind in Arlington. That's a general overview of what we're actually looking at doing. We're going to be supported by a technical guidance committee. I've already talked to the U.S. Attorney, your district attorney, the Council of Governments, Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the Texas Workforce Commission, and Windham School District as examples. They're all providing someone to serve on a technical guidance committee, and that's just the beginning. Because as we continue to build this assimilation of networks, we're going to make sure that all of those agencies are deeply involved in its structure. I've already started working with Les Smith on specific metrics in terms of measurement. A part of the early measurement is going to be that we actually build the networks. A part of the measurement is going to be that we get this data flowing to Tarrant County. A part of the measurement is going to be that we're accurately able to interface and create the linkage between Tarrant County and the state agencies and the communities that they serve. And then we're going to get very specific about the metrics of how many people will be served of those returning. Tarrant County Reentry Coalition proposes in the last document I've seen that they're able, with their capacity, to serve 700 people. But you're going to see about 7,000 individuals come back to Tarrant County. And so somehow, some way, we've got to look at scalability. We've got to be able to scale up and be able to serve a greater percentage of the returning population. And the most effective way I know of to do that is to truly build these broader networks that are more collaborative in nature, that receive the information in advance so we can begin servicing them before then. That's what I'm going to call phase one. Phase two is really to then go back and work with the state agencies to address the fact that successful reentry begins at incarceration. That we need to start talking about how, when someone is committed to serve time in prison, we begin then with really thinking about a long-term plan. There are too many instances where someone's incarcerated without a GED and 5 years later they're released still without a GED. They're in prison without certifications and the capability of finding employment. They're released without certifications and the ability to find employment. And so that's what I'm going to call phase two. What I'm asking you to consider today is simply authorization for me to work with your county administrator, GK, and Les Smith to develop a contract or a proposal that would come back to you subsequently after it were developed with all those metrics firmly in place for your consideration. Because I do believe this is the important missing link, and I've not talked to anyone yet who's told me this is not a critical piece and it's not a piece needed. I understand your time is of essence this morning. I wanted to provide you with that overlay, but I'll summarize. We're going to link directly with state agencies. We're going to link that directly with Tarrant County, your agencies in those communities. We're going to be facilitating pre-release information directly back to the county. We're going to be facilitating post-release assistance to those same individuals. And we're going to be building networks where networks don't exist to provide a coordinated manner of supporting things like housing and employment assistance needs. Pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Wes, what is your role with Bridge Redemption?
I am not paid by Bridge Redemption. I'm not a member of the board. I'm doing this because I saw the need as chairman of the Texas Workforce Investment Council, because I live in Tarrant County, and I know that this is something that we need to do because it's the right thing to do.
Thank you.
I think that this approach is a good one. Wes is correct in his analysis that there are gaps in the system caused by lack of linkages between various organizations that are providing services in this reentry space. Coordination among agencies is key to providing expansion of services, scalability of these programs so that they serve more and more of our returning citizens. Please remember that the goal of reentry programs is to provide opportunity to those returning home from the criminal justice system, such that they can get such services as job training, housing, whatever they need to become, once again, tax-paying citizens of this community, rather than economic drains on this community. I don't apologize to anyone for my involvement in reentry services. It's the right thing to do for our county. It's the right thing to do for the people who live here. And I would move that we ask the administrator's office to work with Wes and Chaplain Stoglin to develop such a contract to bring back to this court for evaluation and approval.
I second that. With one question, you mentioned 7,000 will be returning to Tarrant County. Is that over a 1 year period?
That is an annual figure.
Let me give you some very
And for
few
how long?
statistics. That's pretty much been annual for years. In fact, I've been going through reports. Senator Whitmire filed a report from the Senate committee in 2014, and you might be interested in two numbers he cited in it. He cited that the cost of crime in Fort Worth in 2013 alone was $1 billion. That's just Fort Worth, that's not Tarrant County. And he cited the fact that the cost of one officer is actually $397,000. That same report cited the fact that the Texas criminal justice system for a few years is beginning to release more people than it's taking in. And so you can expect those numbers, if anything, to rise and increase, not reduce. Here's four key numbers. 15,000 on parole in Tarrant County in rounded numbers today, 7,000 returning, $26,000 to house each one in prison, $50,000 for each case of recidivism. One case of recidivism, $50,000. Two people sent back, $100,000. I would at least submit to you that when we come back with a formal written proposal, you're going to see a significant return on investment when we can demonstrate to you that we can successfully facilitate thousands of those individuals directly into services where it's hit or miss today.
Yes, if you can demonstrate that and then show us how we can measure progress, that would be great.
Absolutely. We're already working on those measures with Les.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So we have a motion and a second on asking us to get with the administrator's office to develop a contract that then would be brought back to court.
Correct.
For vote and discussion. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Mr. Jory.
That's all we have at this time, Your Honor.
Then we will recess our open meeting and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under section 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code.
That was weak.
What was this award? Wow, saw you. It goes to people like Mickey and your office. The rest of us know about this. Indeed, sleeping, you probably did. Mary Louise, I didn't see this town. I know that she has.
How are you, sir?
Barbara's involved in it.
So a lot of stuff needs to be done. Thank you very much for your work. All right, get with TJ. Let's get it done.
How are you?
So you should be hearing from her with kind of some asking for guidance of where that needs to come from.
Any idea? We were trying to remember which precinct it was. It happened when I which precinct it was that had the fund. Can't remember. So I told Paul that settle this later or something in your budget. I
Because I think we have the dollars to transfer over, just want to make sure that we just to.
You need one. I don't hear any.
Well, there's three of them. They're
Any
probably
running
together.
feet?
They're probably together, so they know we can't actually do anything until one of them gets in here. I need y'all separate when I hit that hammer, that way that you don't have an idea of how many may already be up here.
There's one.
Having returned from our closed session, there being no business to conduct at this time, we stand adjourned.